Hey guys, so I had to redo this video, so the images are going to be different, but in any event, all the information should be the same. So we're going to learn how to take that image that we downloaded from Pexels in the last video and how to import it into Photoshop. All right, so this is Photoshop. All screens, I know mine has a lot of stuff on it because I work on different things, but pretty much this is basically what your screen looks like. So what we're going to do, we can do a few ways. If you want to edit the picture directly, then we'll just open it. But what I like to do is to create a new document. So I'm just going to go to create new. I'm just going to pick, mine looks a little different, like I said, because I work on things all the time. So I'll just go to print and I'll just click letter. All of these settings should be the same, 8.5 by 11. Oh, that's really good. I'm going to hit create. All right. So now my workspace probably looks different than yours. Let me go ahead and reset mine real quick. And my computer's working a little slow. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I am getting the spinning wheel more than usual. So if there are any pauses, that's why. All right, so here I am in the main screen. What I'm going to do is go to File, and I'm going to go to File, Place. Now, when you get here, the confusing part is there's a place embedded and a place linked. The difference between the two is place embedded means that that photo that you bring in is going to be directly connected to this file. This means that if you take the file and you send it to someone else, or if you take the file, start at home and you start at another computer, you'll have that everything that you need inside of there as long as it's embedded. When it's place linked, then that means that that file stays on your hard drive. It does not follow this file everywhere you go. So if you start off working at home and you go to work, you will not have that image that was linked because it's only on your computer. Or worst case scenario, which is why we will be using embedded in this class, if you start off at home and you create and design and then you send it to me, I won't have any files or anything to grade. So you want to make sure that you're using place embedded. Now, another difference in the two, though, just so that you know, a place embedded is going to mean that that file is heavier, of course, because that file is a part of this document, right? So that means the linked one would be lighter because the linked file is on your computer, and it's not necessarily inside of that document. However, for this class, you will be doing place embedded because you have to, one, we're working in a digital world, so you have to send that file and all its components to me, okay? So we're going to do place embedded. And then it's going to go through and it's going to go and bring up your desktop. I'm going to go to downloads. And so there are 3 files that I've already downloaded just just to have. So I'm just going to grab one of these and I'm going to hit place. Sorry. Allergies today. All right. So it's going to place the file, right? And as you know, it'll come in and it's sitting in this kind of container. There are guides, around it. And that's just because Photoshop gives you the opportunity to resize this, transform it, decide how you want it, whether you want it or not. So at this point, I could grab on any of these control handles. For this class, you guys will be grabbing on just the edges. And the reason is if you grab the centers, then you're actually skewing your photo. Do not skew any photos. That is a part of grade and design. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. So what you want to do, and I will know because there is a properties panel that'll tell me whether any images and stuff are skewed. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab the edge. And if you have the newer Photoshop, or I think the older Photoshop, you don't have to hold shift, but to make sure. So if you see that it's doing this and it's all over the place, then either you're going to have to, just depend on which version of Photoshop you have. You don't want that to happen because look at that. That's what skewing is. See how that picture, it's skewing and it's messing up its original form. That's destructive editing, and we don't want to do anything destructive. So what we're going to do in this case is hold shift in the case of my computer in the version that I have. And when I hold shift, it's going to constrain it. So if when you hold shift, you're noticing that it's moving all around, you have the older version of Photoshop that hasn't been updated, and you're going to need to either update it or you're going to need to not hold shift. Okay. But either what you want to get, the result you want is this one where it's coming in and it's constrained. You don't want this one. Okay. So it's either you hold shift or you don't hold shift. Hopefully everybody in this class, we're going to be on the same one. I'm hoping that you've all updated your Photoshop and that it's going to be best if we're working on the same version of Photoshop so that yours works like mine. So if we're on the same version of Photoshop, then we're going to hold shift and it's going to constrain it. So no matter how we move it, it'll constrain. All right. All right. So that's how we do that. So if we want to constrain it, we're going to hold shift. If we want to constrain it evenly, meaning that all sides move, you'll hold shift and alt. And when you hold shift and alt, notice it's pulling it out from the center, and and parts of your image might be cropped off, but I'm okay with that in this particular one. Now, here's the kicker. Before I let go of the shift and the option, you let go of the mouse first, because if you don't, then that shift and option, it's as if you never pressed them in the first place. Okay, so I have shift and option still depressed. I'm letting go of the mouse, and now I can let go of shift and option. So you always let go of the mouse first. This goes true in Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. You always let go of the mouse first before you let go of the modifier keys. And the modifier keys are like your shift, your alt, your control, your command. All of those are modifier keys. Okay. All right. So I let it go. I have the image, and you're like, well, why is this box still here? Why can't I do anything else? It's because you have to commit. Now, the coolness is the new version of Photoshop just allowed us to commit without actually hitting enter or without clicking on the check mark. So that's cool with the new update. If yours does not and you have the older version, you saw that check mark that was up top. Let me bring in another image just so that I can show you. Because I didn't expect it to do that. It's kind of cool. That's its new, must be a new feature, which is cool. All right, so I have this image, and I remember there's the guides allow me to transform. So if by clicking here it doesn't stop for you like mine did, what you have to do is you have to commit, right? So you have to say, hey, Photoshop, this is the photo I want. This is exactly where I want it. Please commit. And once you commit, the way that you do that is up here at the top. You're going to see this check mark which says, yes, I want to commit. Or you see the slash which says, no, I don't want to commit to this. So if you want to commit, you either hit the check mark or you hit return or enter on your keyboard. Either one is going to give you the same result. I click it and I've committed. Okay. So pretty much that's it in a nutshell. That is how you bring the image that you downloaded in your downloads folder from Pexels and bring it into Photoshop. And now you're actually able to work. So you're going to save, manipulate, and do all that fun stuff. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Hopefully it didn't go too long. And I will see you guys in the next video. Ta-ta for now. Ta-ta, ta-ta.